convictions could tear your life apart, separating you from your loved ones, stripping away your freedom, and placing your very existence at risk. Envision the tension of standing before an unyielding authority, where every word carries the weight of life or death. In Tudor England, a woman named and faced exactly this reality. Her unwavering resolve in the face of tyranny, driven by faith and inner strength, sparked a story that still resonates centuries later. This is not just a historical account. It's a gripping journey through sacrifice, resistance, and the unshakable power of belief. Prepare to be moved by a legacy that challenges the soul and echoes through time. Before diving into the video, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss an interesting video. And was no queen or scholar, just an ordinary woman with an extraordinary heart. Born in 1521 in Lincolnshire, England, she grew up in a Catholic family, surrounded by tradition, but something stirred in her, a pull toward Protestantism, a bold new movement that questioned the Pope's power and reshaped faith. For Anne, this wasn't just religion, it was a fire in her soul. She read banned books, shared dangerous ideas, and lived her truth in a world that demanded she stay quiet. Can you imagine the bravery it took to stand out when blending in was so much easier? Anne wasn't born a hero, but her choices made her one. Anne's life changed when she married Thomas, a wealthy man, but her growing faith clashed with their life together. In a time when women rarely left their husbands and did something unthinkable, she walked away. Her beliefs mattered more than society's rules. She started preaching Protestant ideas, spreading forbidden books, and challenging the powers that be. Her words were like sparks, catching the attention of the authorities. They saw her as a threat, a woman who dared to speak when she was supposed to obey. Arrested for heresy in 1545, she faced torture and a trial that would test her resolve. What made her so dangerous? Was it her ideas, her courage, or the way she inspired others? Her story is a roller coaster of defiance and danger that you won't want to miss. England in the 1530s and 1540s, a time of upheaval under King Henry VIII. In 1534, Henry split from a Catholic church, creating the Church of England. But the religious landscape was a battlefield. His successors flipped between Catholicism and Protestantism, punishing anyone who didn't follow the state's faith. Laws like the Act of Six Articles in 1539 made Protestant beliefs a crime punishable by death, and a Protestant reformer was caught in this chaos. How did she keep going in such a perilous time? Her story is a lesson in standing tall when the world tries to knock you down, but it's also a tragedy that will tug at your heart. Anne's journey unfolded across England, from the peaceful fields of Lincolnshire to the terrifying cells of the Tower of London. She went from her family's Catholic home to secret Protestant meetings, then to the heart of London's power. The Tower, a dark fortress, became her prison. There, she faced the rack, a brutal device meant to shatter body and spirit. Imagine the cold stone walls, the creak of the torture device, and Anne's refusal to give in. The settings of her story pull you in, but her strength in those places will leave you in awe. From quiet villages to the grim tower, every step of her path is a piece of her unforgettable legacy. Anne's defiance wasn't just about faith. It was about standing up to a world that tried to silence her. In an era when women were expected to obey, she spoke out. During her trial, she faced Bishop Bonner, a man who crushed dissent. She boldly challenged Catholic rituals and the Pope's authority, even as torture loomed. Why didn't she back down? Her faith gave her strength, but her silence, refusing to betray her fellow reformers, made her a legend. Her story makes us ask, what would you give up for your truth? Could you stay strong under that kind of pressure? Anne's courage speaks to anyone who's ever fought for what they believe in, and it's a reminder of the power of one voice. After months of torture, Anne was sentenced to death. On July 16, 1546, at Smithfield in London, she faced her final moments. Too weak to walk, she was carried to the stake. As the flames rose, she prayed, her voice steady, "I die for the love of God and the gospel of Jesus Christ." Even in pain, she didn't falter. How could someone stay so calm in the face of such horror? Her execution wasn't just a death. It was a powerful statement. Her words, written in the tower, were later published, inspiring reformers and sparking debates about women's roles in resistance. Anne's end was tragic, but it was also the start of a legacy that still burns bright. Why doesn't courage still grab us? Her death shook England, exposing the cruelty of religious persecution. Her writings, smuggled out of the Tower, became a rallying cry for reformers. They weren't just letters. They were proof of a spirit that couldn't be broken. Have you ever wondered what it takes to stand firm when everything's against you? Anne's story isn't just about the past. It's a mirror for our own struggles with belief and freedom. She wasn't alone in her fight. Many faced death for their faith. But as a woman who preached, resisted, and endured torture without breaking and stands out, her sharp, fearless responses during interrogations showed a mind as strong as her heart. A crowd gathers, some mock, others cry, and, frail from torture, is tied to the stake. The fire is lit. Most would scream or beg, but in praise. Her calm, even as the flames consume her, stuns the crowd. Why didn't she curse her enemies? How could she face death with such grace? These questions pull us deeper into her story. Her death wasn't the end. It was a beginning. Protestants saw her as a martyr, Catholics a warning, but everyone agreed and was unforgettable. Anne's execution didn't silence her. Her writing spread like wildfire, detailing her suffering, faith, and defiance. Reformers found courage in her words. Women, often ignored in religious debates, saw her as proof of their strength. Even now, historians study her to understand the Tudor era's religious conflicts. But Anne's story isn't just for scholars. It's for anyone who's ever faced a tough choice. It's about picking principle over safety. Could you make that call? That's the question that keeps her story alive, making us think, feel, and wonder. Anne's story isn't stuck in the 16th century. It's about the fights we face now, standing up for what's right, even when it's risky. Her courage pushes us to look at our own beliefs. What would you risk for your convictions? Would you face the flames in your own way? From her quiet start in Lincolnshire to her fiery end at Smithfield, Anne's life shows the power of one person's resolve. Her story doesn't just teach, it inspires. It asks us to dig deep and question what we'd stand for, no matter the cost. Anne's execution was a tragedy, but it was also a triumph. She didn't just die, she lit a spark that's still burning. Her story is a call to action, a reminder to hold fast to what matters most. Keep exploring these stories of courage that history can't forget, and ask yourself, what would you stand for no matter what? Thanks for watching. If Anne's story moved you, share it. Let her courage echo forward. Subscribe for more powerful stories from history that still speak to us today. And remember, one voice, one choice can change everything.